Morning, I am eria-qreius and this is, Earthbound Junk Lab, where I show a Earthbound variant that's mediocre at best compared to the other variants, talk about it, the strengths and weaknesses. So this is a Servant Earthbound Runick, which is one of the many sub-variants Earthbound Runick has, and it is one that I didn't like for a long time. Mainly because of its inflexibility with the extra deck, but also because it's just too focused on doing a big inboard. This variant was pretty much popularized, sort of, by MBT. He played a lot of Servant Earthbound Runick, and yeah, all of his games were just the gas, turbo out every single thing under the sun, and then draw a couple of cards and maybe do Runicks, which I personally don't think is a very good way to play Runicks. Like, if you're playing Runicks, you might as well take advantage of them, right? So like, playing Runicks for the sake of being solely extenders, I don't really like unless it's exactly, say, Generator, which doesn't really have any other options. Like, you use Runicks as your fodder for World Legacy Monstrosity and stuff, but in something like this, which is a Synchro build and have 40 cards to draw everything as consistently as possible, you might as well take advantage of your Runicks. So, a lot of the problems I've had with this build were mainly a lot of people don't start a Hugin, so like they're either banking on drawing a third Runick in their starting hand, or banking on their draw cards, like Crocodile Dragon, to draw, well, their Runicks. And also this variant just completely dies to Nibiru, which is depressing. So yeah, it was pretty rough going into this, where my first impressions being essentially just not great. For starting out, I just thought this is probably not gonna be fun, but honestly, I'm surprised. This variant has actually a lot of fun tools it can utilize to its advantage. The main thing here, of course, being Freki. Hold on, let me just get a cleaner view of the deck list. Also, standard, since we're gonna be comparing them later. Alright, so editing area here, I forgot to explain what standard Earthbound Runick is after talking about it a lot in the video. So, let's talk about it. Standard Earthbound Runick is just your base core of Earthbounds plus a Synchron. This is usually Jet now that Nibiru is popular in masterduel. If Nibiru is not popular, Revolution Synchron is better. And this is the mandatory extra deck. Essentially, this is also referred to as the Garden Rose Maiden build, because whilst she is technically not mandatory, she's a really good card and basically was the face of the deck for a very long time. So yeah, this is standard Earthbound Runick, and it is standard because it has the most flexibility, having Space for Chaos Angel and Legacia, which are really good cards, a level 6 Synchro, which is always gonna be first Coral Dragon, then Charge Warrior, and then Marshmallow Marcher with Axel Synchron to when Hugin or your tuner is disrupted, you just get to do everything. It is the standard because it is the best, because it has everything you would need it to do. The Breaker build also has a lot of nuance. You have a Super Poly build, which I don't really like because it's got such limited flex slots. It's kind of miserable. And also the anti-Nibiru build, which is 100% immune to Nibiru, unlike the standard build, which can only make Legacia pass under Nibiru. So yeah, there isn't a lot to explain about how the build plays. It's more about how the build works through its many, not really many, it's like a couple of combos that all have the same base ideas. So yeah, if you want to learn more about this variant, there is this little section in the combo sheet in the description below, which talks about briefly the build, the text, the extra deck, everything you would ever need, and also the lines. The lines are very important to explain the build, but I'm not gonna be reading out all the lines. The spreadsheet is below, you can read it yourself. Alright, back to yapping area. Alright, so the main thing about this build is that you're cutting Geri for Freki, which is something you don't usually see in Runick builds, since Geri is such a great going second tool. But like, look, Runick in every single format is garbage right now, so like, you might as well have fun with it. You know, this whole series is gonna be just fun decks you can use because I really think they're really cool. Freki being a Dark 5 is so cool for Gremlin and Griffin, which is the main way you're gonna be developing your lines. Essentially, hold on, let me get a line. See, this is the Keeper line. You practically go through your entire extra deck other than your follow-up play, your other follow-up play, and the last follow-up play, which is really rough. I wish you had 20 extra deck slots because Geri is a great utility slot, Dawn Dragster is great, like it's a spell trap negate, you can't go wrong with that. Chaos Angel being a good summon of Axel Synchron and backup lines, and just overall being a really good card. Your level 6s, which I would play instead of Drago's Tapelia if it wasn't for the lack of space, because you need another level 8 Synchro to actually get your backup lines kicking on turn 3. Sorry, not backup, follow-up lines. And like Coral Dragon just doesn't have anything to summon into and just kinda gets stuck there on board. But I guess if you have the space for Geri, you would have the space to summon something with Coral. Shooting Riser is also a really cool card. It can get Medora, which can also shuffle back your guys. The problem with this play is sadly that you still need more utility slots, because like you don't have much worth making after the whole ordeal. Like you can shuffle. Actually, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as I'm picturing it to be, but it is not great, is the point. Legacia is a great card. I wish I could play it, mainly because of Nibiru. This is built for masterduel, but like just swap the non-engine for whatever board breakers, except for exactly Ultimate Slayer and Metal Tronus, and you're good to go, somewhat. Like you just swap around the bad Runicks for the good ones, play another fountain, and you're good. Oh yeah, I need to explain the elephant in the room, but before that, SP Little Knight. Drago's Tapelia can be swapped to SP Little Knight because she's the best utility tool in the entire game. And speaking of utility tools, I forgot to add Typhon to the list. Some other options, let me check. There isn't much else to note from the stuff that Standard plays here, other than Lord Omega, which leads me to the normal Stardust Dragon sitting here in the extra deck, which is here because Lord Omega's looping of resources doesn't really come up here, because the only thing you would ever loop is a Ishiju Shuffler, which, whilst it is good, it's not worth playing Omega for, because that's gonna only happen on turn 4, which is rough. And also because I just really wanted to get an additional draw with Croco Dragon during the opponent's turn. You can see here. See, I changed up this line and I forgot about it. This is why I need a script. You can either summon Lord Omega or Draco Berserker, but Draco Berserker is a little more consistent. And on the opponent's turn, earlier on in the lifespan of me testing this variant, I went for Lord Omega because, yep, hand loop, but honestly, Croco Dragon is far more consistent, because you get more Runicks, and plus, it's a guaranteed pop, unlike Lord Omega, which is a very risky hand rip option. Alright, what else? Yeah, combos. The combos mostly use Freki as a very good card, because the level is really good. Yeah, that's it. And also, whilst we talk about Freki, let's talk about Geri and why he didn't make it to the list over Freki. And that is just because I didn't wanna add another Synchron for the Excel Synchron backup lines, which here you can see, let me get it. Oh yeah, this is probably the simplest example. You don't need a Synchron to modulate the level of Excel to be advantageous to you. And plus here, since you're playing Freki, you can actually go into Baron, because if you didn't know, Harmonic Synchro Fusion takes the original levels of the cards. So if you had a Geri here, if you're Harmonic, Axel plus Geri, you would only be able to summon Stardust Dragon plus Dragostapelia, whilst here you can just play summon Baron and Dragostapelia. Freki makes you way more immune to Nibiru than you would ever wish to, which is great. And whilst I really miss Geri's going second prowess, it's, look, it's Runick. You're not going to regionals with this, and especially not with Servant Earthbound Runick. So just aim to have fun. Usually I'm super defiant in my quest to make Earthbound as viable as possible, but I can have fun sometimes, you know. Okay, so I did this on purpose. I am gonna be writing a combo mid video to try and compare Freki to Geri, and if the extra Synchron you would play for Geri, aka Jet Synchron, is actually worth it over Geri's smoother line. So, and it's also kind of poor, not really scripted. Like my script is this. Yeah, like not very scripted combos, but hey, I just wanna do this. Summon Shamisen, Runick, summon Geri. So here, Freki gives you a way to access Griffin early, meaning you can make Baron with GSV, which is Gremlina into Sweeper into Vision. So like you just go into access Stardust, revive Vision, then make Baron. Here instead you Freki, Fountain, draw 2, then Harmonic, Walker plus Geri, summon Dragster. A really sad thing here is that you can't summon Shooting Riser because Harmonic Synchro Fusion doesn't fusion nor synchro summon properly. So like you don't get the mill, which the mill would be so helpful here because of Medora being both a disruption and also, you know, just recycling. Recycling is so good, but you can't access it very well here. Summon Dragster and Gremlina. Now GSV, summon Griffin. Oh yeah, by the way, the combo sheet is always in the description. I always put it there. It's a great resource. I am not gonna be gatekeeping something like this, especially because the deck that it's for is unplayable anyway, so like, what am I hiding? Griffin Revive Sweeper, Shami, Sen, plus... See, the weird thing here is that you make Baron after, but the line dies to Nibiru no matter what, unless your opponent is extra cautious. If your opponent is extra cautious, like you would need Legacia to make this line semi-Nibiru proof if your opponent is super cautious, but that's so specific, it's kind of whatever. Plus, you're not bringing this to ladder in Master Duel, you're just bringing this to locals and hoping no one is on Nibiru. Shamisen plus, what's that called? Sweeper. Summon Axel Stardust into Baron. as I noted here, Baron can be replaced with Return 0. Return 0 is garbage, but like there isn't much else you can make to protect yourself from Nibiru. And actually, that's a stupid thing to say. You can just make Chanyang. It's not gonna matter because you die to Nibiru regardless. So yeah, in the TCG you get to play Legacia without giving up Jegos. That's fun. But I would still, I think, play Chaos Angel over Baron and Legacia over Jegos if you really want to be cautious. Like, I don't know. I haven't had as much time with this build than I have with standard Earthbound Runick, which is this build, just this and this, or the Reasoning Breaker build. The Reasoning Breaker build is the better one into Nibiru because of Earthbound Fusion. Oh yeah, those Jet Revolution Synchrons would be Jet Synchrons to try and dodge Nibiru and summon Legacia with the token. Like this deck is so weird into Nibiru, but like at least the standard builds don't die to it, while Servant does, and it's really rough for me to consider it anything other than casual fodder. Anyways, from here, not Crocodile Dragon, Axel Stardust, revive Shamisen, and from here is the same as this line. And like at that point it's just a matter of choice on whether you want to play Jet for the backup plan or if you want to play Freki for the backup plan. One is a brick, the other is a slightly less flexible Runick for you to choose. What the hell did I write here? On level 8? Yeah. That's 3 draws, 1 Omni Negate with Baron, 1 Spell Trap Negate, and 1 Targeted Pop. Okay, so yeah, I am very smart. So like I'm not too sure. Like I don't think there's anyone else that's more qualified. Like I'm gonna be sounding super stupid now, but like I don't know if there's anyone else more qualified to talk about Earthbound than me. So like I'm not sure. I've seen a friend play Servant Earthbound Runick, but he was playing Servant Bystial Earthbound Runick, which is a completely different build, which I am not familiar with, so I didn't wanna do a lab video about it. And speaking of the build, let me just get it real quick. EBR Bystial, there we go. I was testing with Assault Synchron, which I'm not sure about. It sounds very greedy to me. Like, yes, you get an extra Dissipator, but also it is greedy. Async is Assault and Jsync is Jet. Jet. And yeah, you do get what's it called? Oh wait, oh yeah, this is the one Runick. I shouldn't be looking at that. Yeah, here. So like, no, yeah, wait. Now that I just realized it, Assault Synchro was that it looks greedy and all. Gives you less endboard than Jet. That is, oh my god. I have my other testing build in Dueling Book, but Dueling Book is down. Oh, it's not. Oh, that's okay. So the not being scripted is such a mess. Everything is just happening. Bystial EBR. Yeah, this is the build I've been testing. This I put in the main deck whilst testing because I needed a visual guideline to write the combos. This isn't much different from the one I had on MDM, I think. Like, yeah, this build tries to be a little less YouTube combo to try and fit in more utility slots like SPE. Actually, just SPE. There isn't much else. Ancient Fairy is just a bridge that can be utility, so like it's not a flex slot. I wish it was, but it's not. And plus, this variant plays a lot of bricks, which means it has a lot of different things it needs to do to be decent, and also really rough non-engine, where Bystial is being practically the only thing you have. Regardless of that, I don't really like it. Oh my god, yeah, duh, this guy. No, this is an older build I put here. And one of the options I was gonna talk about in the video was Korean Gandrax. Because it's such a YouTube combo, what's it called? The brain, come on. It's such a YouTube combo win condition, it's stupid. So like, you know how Shamisen can summon Axel Stardust on your opponent's turn, then Axel Stardust into Stardust Dragon, do whatever you wish with it? Shamisen is a level 3, plus the level 1 of Keeper, and the level 5 of Sweeper, which means you get a level 9 double tuners synchro. Which means if you're starting with Keeper, and yeah. This line is so stupid. It's so cool, but it's so bad. Like, you would much rather just summon Croco Dragon anyways. The idea is, on your opponent's turn, Griffin into Keeper, into Sweeper, quick synchro, make Korean Gandrax, banish everything. And whilst that is cool, the draw from Croco Dragon is so consistent. It gives you so many more options. You get a free pop anyways. And like, yes, it is a banish, but like, if you want the banish, instead of summoning Croco, you can revive Vision and summon Chaying instead. Well, and Chaying is a beasting Runick anyways, so like, is it really worth it to give up your flex slot in Dragos Stapelia for Korean Gandrax? Not really. Like, the things you would give up Stapelia for are exactly Legacia, and that's it. Oh yeah, Martial Metal Marcher should be gone. I've tested a couple of lines in Martial Metal Marcher, and I liked none of them. They just ended up being worse than Shamisen lines. Which is sad, because Martial Metal Marcher is a GOAT in Standard Runick. I don't know if this is more so from me using it more often than Shamisen, but Shamisen is just worse than Marcher in exactly Earthbound Runick, the standard one. I should test more Shamisen, but like, ladder and masterduel is very not kind to Runick, and neither is just, you know, standard TCG play, so like, I'm kind of stuck in the solo mode testing grounds, which isn't really a good way to gauge something as dependent on your opponent as a backup plan. And you know how much I love backup plans, because like, I have a philosophy with Earthbound that is, you should always have a backup plan in your hand at all times, because otherwise you're not gonna be doing anything any game, because your opponent isn't just gonna be sitting there whilst you combo. And whilst you do get the time to combo, you're gonna be regretting it deeply once your opponent uses one singular hand trap and you die instantly. So, oh yeah, brain, come on. So you know how Gremlina is your main playmaker, and like, Vision is super important for your GSV combo? Yeah. So, I am playing Vision without Gaia. And this is unprecedented for builds, because, you know, looping Vision is such a great play in a lot of scenarios with other Earthbound builds like Azamina. In fact, let me get Azamina real quick. Alright, here is an Azamina build, sporting 20 trillion hand traps. And as you can see here, I'm playing Crimson Gaia, but here I'm not. And the reason for that is because Crimson Gaia is essentially only a second copy of Vision Resonator for your starting hand. Vision doesn't really give you an advantageous level other than alongside Gremlina. Like, it's not compatible with Sleipnir. It doesn't matter when yugioh is out because you already made your level 10 Synchro, and whilst you can Griffin plus Vision into Chaos Angel or Chen Ying, you'd rather not. Like, it's pretty much pointless. You don't need to do that because you have Sleipnir in your extra deck to do your level 10 Synchro plays. So Vision is just kinda stuck as your turn 1 combo piece and nothing else. So I decided to cut Crimson Gaia because, you know, I legitimately didn't see any other usage. Like, sure, you could Freki plus Vision into Don Dragster and cut yugioh, but like, if Vision is the only card in your hand, why would you want, and like, that is such a disadvantageous position to be in, why would you play a second copy of that? Since that would only increase the chances of you to draw a disadvantageous card. So, and like, that's the same for, you know, every single one of Brick. Like, this is the reason you don't play Harmonic on more than one copy. Because whilst it is solid to draw, as, you know, if you get disrupted on your starting tuner, you still get Harmonic. Most of the time, it's gonna break your hand. It's not gonna matter if it's the only other card that you draw with the second piece of your puzzle. You need a card number 1 and a card number 2 to play, and they're both from different archetype because it's Earthbound, the deck doesn't have anything. So like, if you draw your Runick with Harmonic, you don't do anything. So you'd rather not draw Harmonic and like draw it less often, essentially, to have everything be slightly more consistent. And also another reason to not play additional bricks is because, you know, you need to draw non-engine. If you don't draw non-engine, you will die to everything. Like, I can't stand it when people are playing jank decks and like don't consider non-engine as a big factor. It's very frustrating for me as someone that's trying to make the jankiest of decks with a weird gimmick, bad cards and everything work. And like, non-engine is being skimmed over by so many people I've seen. It's weird. But back to what I was saying. No, yeah, there isn't much else to say. Vision is solely here to be your bridge into Baron in your line, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so I kind of went off in a stupid direction. See, this is why I like to script things, but I decided not to for the sake of a more interesting series. And yeah, I think it's fun. So I'm gonna be giving some concluding thoughts on the deck and how I could be experimenting with it moving forward. So coming into this, I thought this deck was gonna be horrible. It wasn't gonna have anything worth mentioning about it other than it just being a turbo YouTube combo. But it has a lot of cool tools you can use in spite of its sole flex slot in yugioh. It has a lot of cute tools you can use at its disposal, and merging the gap between Runick Earthbound and the classic Earthbound builds, which use Vision Resonator and all the servants, is pretty neat. And also this variant can evolve, well, more like devolve, into Bystial Servant Earthbound Runick, which is also a really cute build that has a lot of nuance and whatnot. And so my final thoughts are just that it's cool, it's fun, it's innovative, and It's great if you want to have a fun time turbo comboing on your opponent with a deck that doesn't really need to win, but it's just flashy and fun, so like, why not? About things the deck could improve on, it's just flexibility. Like, the main strengths of your servants are, of course, the extra deck slots you can use on turn 3 to take advantage of the free summons Griffin gives you. So like, I am not sure how the deck is gonna go in the future, because so far not having flexibility is practically its only issue other than Nibiru, but Nibiru isn't real. I will be trying to experiment with it a lot more and try to find some ways to loosen up its weaknesses a little more, although this is gonna be happening a couple of months from now, because I just have a lot of things I need to work on the combo sheet, because I need to redo every single line actually, because I wanna write it more consistently, because I wrote recently the Runick combos, and like I essentially made a slightly different format for all of them, so I need to update the old combos to accommodate for that, and plus I need to add some extra lines to Azamina. The Mushroom Metal Marcher and Garden Rose Maiden lines being different, because there is a couple of lists that don't play Garden Rose, so like you need to adapt a little for them with Mushroom Metal Marcher. Also, I need to finish Metal Morph. Centurion is not finished actually. A lot of miscellaneous stuff. Speaking of miscellaneous, I need to do Punk. Doing updates to my combo sheet mid video is silly, but like I need to talk about it. I need the visual aid to explain stuff. Bystial Earthbound Runick is also something I need to lab out a little more. Like, the list I showed earlier was very rough, like extremely rough, and I need to change a lot of things. If I can't improve it, it's gonna be fine, because like, these decks are for fun, and if you're playing them, you can also just put your own twist into it. Just do whatever feels better. It's not gonna be winning any regionals, like, who cares? But yeah, I will be experimenting with this variant a lot more in the future, because it's cool. I see a lot of potential in it that can't be realized due to its problems, but overall, this is cool. I like it. I love Earthbound. Anyways, that's gonna be the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Wait, am I stupid? How many slots is this? That's 14, that can't be right. Am I stupid? Yeah, I think it messed something up in the deck builder, because there are only 14 slots. Oh wait, oh, never mind. I'm actually I am not smart. There are 2 Hyugins. Okay, forget that.